Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining Peeling Back the Label with Book and Wine Lovers Marketing. Today we have a special guest today, Kait. Kait, oh, hold on. She just wants to come in. Are you in, Kait? She's coming in. Yay!
Hi.
Hi, Kait. I can't believe I did it. The last time I did the last week, well, no, because I was sick. Whatever week it was, we had such a hard time going back and forth. I tried, the author tried, then I tried again, she tried, and well, we finally got it,
Yeah.
but it was okay. It was all right. But I'm
It just
glad it worked this time.
sometimes it wants to work and sometimes it's like, you don't need to do this.
Well, what happened was I think it was on my end. I decided to shut my phone completely down, turn it back on, and then it worked like a charm.
Funny how
So
that happens.
yes. So today I made sure I shut down my phone, turned it back on, and maybe that's the magic trick. I
There,
don't know.
maybe.
Speaking of magic, we're going to be talking about all of your lovely books today, and I guess let's just start out with just tell us a little bit about yourself first and how you got into writing about books about magic and witches and vampires and kind of like what was like the whole thing behind that.
So, I mean, I've always liked writing. I've always really been into fantasy and stuff since I was a kid. I started writing when I started writing this series. I actually started off as a fan fiction. It was a Star Wars fan fiction. I was really into that, and it just had so much good feedback. People were like, "If this was an original, I would read it." And this was right around the time, like, all of the Raylo books were coming out, like Allie Hazelwood. So I'm like, I can do that. And at the time, my son was just born, so I was a lot of sleepless nights, and I was up, and I'm like, might as well. I started writing then, and I wrote through, like I said, having a newborn, and then I was pregnant again with my daughter, so can never be comfortable when you're pregnant. um, and yeah, so I just had a lot of sleepless nights because I was just small child and growing another one. So
Mm-hmm.
from there, I just kept writing, and my friends encouraged me to put it out there, so I started querying it, and that's how I got with my publisher. And they're like, "Oh, we want to do a series," and I'm like, "Had no plans for that, but here we are." So 3 books in, and I'm writing book 4 now.
That's wonderful. A lot of moms, I hear that's when they write is at night
Mhm.
because they're either uncomfortable being pregnant or with the kids and the whole bit. So you're on the right track in that respect. Maybe it's time for another baby.
Not done. I'm
You're
done. I
done.
got both in school. My son's turning 5 in 2 weeks. My daughter's
Oh,
turning 4. I'm done. We're good. She's over here sitting with me. So
so you have a boy and a girl. You're good.
yeah, I'm good. I've got the collector set. So
Me too. That's I had a boy and a girl, and my mom always said you have two hands for two kids.
there you go. Yeah.
That's
I got one hip and the other to carry around. They still want me to carry around. Yeah.
it. Now, how did you get into the witch and vampire stuff?
Mm. Anne Rice.
Okay.
I read Anne Rice back in middle school, and I just got really into that. I've always been really into the fantastical. So when I started creating these characters, I wanted to have like a magical world that was in parallel with the human world. I really like having magic in the real world, so it just kind of made sense to have these different like folklore and mythological creatures, kind of just going about their business, living their lives.
Hmm. Now, did you have to like do a lot of research on like the witching with your books and the vampire stuff? And I also love how I listened to the audiobook for Blood Magic, and I loved when the main character Lily, her sisters would call the vampire Albert a fanger. Like, is that? I just cracked up. Like, get that fanger! I just thought it was so funny.
I mean, I've read so many vampire books. I watched so many vampire shows. So obviously a lot of True Blood influence in Blood Magic. I read all the books. I watched the whole show. So definitely just I consumed a lot of witch and vampire books throughout my life, so I kind of drew from that knowledge. But yeah, I do a lot of research. I start where we all start, Wikipedia, and then fall down a rabbit hole.
I love
So
it. And a lot of people are into the witches and the vampires, and I like how you mesh them together. It wasn't like the book that I read, The Blood Magic, was an audio book, and I just liked the relationship between Lily and Albert, and it wasn't so much like say for example with Twilight. Yes, they were in love and stuff, but I don't know. Yours was just a little bit different. It just seemed like it was just more genuine, just more caring, not about like, not always thinking like, oh my God, I can't, I have to stop thinking about a blood or whatever. It was just like her heart comforted him instead of him thinking like, I want to eat you, So I like that. I like that kind of stuff. I thought that was nice. How you kind of put that in there.
yeah, I mean, I liked the idea because, like, Albert's been around a long enough time that he kind of has a handle on himself. And even though some days it's like it is a struggle, like the nice thing about Blood Magic is an established relationship, so they went through all the kind of awkward phases of a new relationship. So it wasn't like, oh, I want her blood. It's more like I need to care for this person because she's my everything, and I've lived long enough to know when that's special.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. No, I loved it, and I wish I had a chance to read all the books, but I didn't. But I'm glad. I always like to at least read one of the books in the series, like whatever's available on audiobook, because at least that I could you could just bang that out.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about. So you have Antique Magic, Blood Magic, and then this one that just came out is Heart Magic. Tell us a little bit about that, and like, did you have any like juicy bits or any like behind the scenes type of stuff that happened while you were writing Heart Magic? And if you can't come up with anything, just come up with whatever you had from the other books.
Yeah, no. So actually, it was funny because when I started writing Heart Magic, I mean, this book taught me a lot. Blood Magic I felt was like super easy to write, and this one was.
Don't worry about
daughter's.
don't worry about your daughter, because my dog is probably going to bark any minute now. So it's all good. If she wants to join in, she can join in. I'm good with that.
So, when I was writing it, I was like, okay, this was also started off as an established relationship, but I knew that this was not the final pairing going to be in this. So I had taken a character that appeared literally in I think 2 scenes, really one at the end of Blood Magic, and in 1 scene total in Blood Magic. And I'm like, I loved him so much. I'm like, I need to bring him back. I fell in love, and that was Cameron. And so he comes into book 3, and he is then the main love interest. And I love him because he's just a big beefy himbo who just wants to bake and take care of people. So that was just a lot of fun writing him in there and developing him, because again, he was just a blip character, but I just loved him so much that I'm like, no, he's my next love interest. And some of the things in book 3, like my main character Wes, he's bipolar, and it is mentioned, and you see a scene with him where he forgot to take his medication, so he's just laying on the couch, doesn't need to do anything, can't move. And I wrote that scene because for the first time in a very long time, I forgot to take my medication one day, and I'm bipolar, and I'm like laying on my bed, unable to move, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do that. And then I immediately took my pills and I went and wrote the scene, because I felt that was important. Like, this is something that everyday people do live with, and sometimes it happens. You kind of forget to take your meds, and then you're just kind of a lump on a couch or in a bed.
No, I love it when you can actually put your own experiences in. A lot of people don't. Well, I think mental health is it's more open,
Yeah.
and more people are talking about it, but we still need more. There was this YouTube people that I was watching, and this couple was driving down the road. They saw a woman in distress. They didn't say exactly what she was doing, but I got the feeling that she probably wanted to commit suicide. So they decided to help her. They called the ambulance, and then the whole bit. And then when they were explaining to the ambulance workers what they thought, and blah blah blah, and I guess they could tell that the woman does have mental health issues. They were rolling their eyes the ambulance workers, like she wasn't worth it, and
Wow.
the do-gooders that pulled over for her were just like so upset, like, why is her life not any better than yours?
Right.
She's having a mental health crisis. She's not choosing to be like this, So, it still needs to be out there, and no eye rolling,
No,
and
taking it seriously.
you don't know unless you're in somebody else's shoes, and so thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, I like to showcase that in my books, like being open about mental health. It's not like this is this is their only character trait is their mental health, but this is something I want to show people who have mental health issues but are still living their everyday lives. And
Right.
it doesn't define who they are. It's just a part of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Magic, Lily does have extreme anxiety to the point where she
Yes, you're right. I did like that too. I did like that. Even witches can have anxiety.
Exactly. Like sometimes magic can't fix mental health, and that's something like I explored in both blood magic and heart magic. Lily's like, you can't fix anxiety with magic. In heart magic, there is a character whose mother has dementia or Alzheimer's, onset Alzheimer's, and she's desperate. Like she finds out about magic, she's like, wants to know if this can help her mom, and they have to explain like magic can't fix the brain. Like that's complex. It's too delicate. It's not something that can be fixed by magic.
Right. Oh, okay. I'm looking forward to reading that one too. So, are you like the type of person that, like, when you're traveling or even at the playground with your kids, and like you can overhear other people, not that you are eavesdropping on purpose, but you're just there, you know what I mean? And you hear what they're talking about. Does that ever give you inspiration or anything like that?
I think every day can give me inspiration. Sometimes it'll just like trigger me, and I'm like, yeah, gotta write it down. I'm like taking notes or I'm writing it down. I carry a notebook in my purse at all times.
Oh, let's just say hi to your daughter. Let's say hi to her. Does she want to look? No.
No.
Oh, what is her name?
Her name's Artemis.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I won't put her face on camera. I'm very like.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
She'll duck down and she'll talk, but.
Oh, okay. But it's all good. I'm good with that. This is a very casual, we're good.
But yeah, to answer the question, I find inspiration just random people or just random things outside. Sometimes even like something my kids will do, like will inspire me to write.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now, do you have this book just came out, correct? The
Monday. Just came out on Monday.
The Heart Mat. Okay, very good. And is there going to be other books in this series, or are you writing a whole new series? How is that going?
I'm actually working on book 4.
Oh.
This follows a character who you see in book 1. It's Dr. Catherine Fry. It's my main character in book 1's like her mentor. But we're gonna keep you down. So it's kind of like her adventures because she was an immortal who gave up her immortality to become mortal, and so just like she's kind of on her like walkabout farewell tour, saying goodbye to the people in her life because now she has a regular mortal lifespan while all of her friends have been immortal, and it ended up being a romantic heist. And that's something I haven't written before, so it kind of like switched up the genre a bit.
Yeah.
It's still romance. Romance is still the central focus, but then they're all still heisting.
I love it. Why not, right?
Yeah.
And it's also good to challenge yourself too,
Exactly. And it has been a challenge.
That's good. That's very good. Now, so this is pretty much your genre. You like to stick to that, and in terms of the writing novels and whatnot.
So romance is definitely where I'm at. That's my wheelhouse. That's what I want to write. I have another book that I just last month submitted to my publisher, and it's actually not anything to do with magic. It's a D&D romance. So the characters play a sort of system like D&D, and it's a contemporary romance. No magic to it other than in game, and so I'm really looking forward to sharing that. Please don't put your face on camera, baby. And yeah, so I don't know when that'll be, either this year or next year, but it's a little bit of a departure and it's a standalone.
That's great. Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, it was actually, I wrote it as a challenge between me and my friend Elle Stewart. She also wrote a D&D romance. We're going to write it together. I got distracted by my first book getting signed and published, and she finished hers before I did. And so hers is Taking Initiative is coming out I think June this year. So
Very good.
yeah, so it was
Very
our
good.
challenge to each other, and I think we're both like dedicating them to our D&D group because I met her. She was my DM when I first started playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, okay. And you still do with the play with the group and the whole bit?
I don't because my group is back in California. I lived there for several years, but when I was pregnant with my son, we moved back to the East Coast where family was. So I would pop in occasionally for like online games, but it's a lot harder because 3 hour difference.
Yeah.
But I just recently, actually this past weekend, started running D&D one shots at the bookstore that I run the social media for. So I got a DM there, and
Oh,
we did a Valentine's Day theme, so it was like all women,
that's
all novice
nice.
players, and it was so much fun.
That's so nice. Now, speaking of like different genres and stuff, I'm gonna like you do the GalaxyCon, is that right?
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's let's help out Chelsea and let's talk about that because a lot of authors don't understand that GalaxyCon, you know, you're a romance author.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think like, well, GalaxyCon, that's just really for like, like the nerdy type books, like the sci-fi and stuff, but it's not. And the romance books get sold out a
Yeah.
lot at your booth, which is a huge booth. You want to tell us a little bit about that and how that
Yeah,
works?
absolutely. So I go with the pop-up bookshop, which like I said is Chelsea and Danielle, the Wonder Twins event. They're both amazing. They just want to help authors out, and they're authors themselves. So they're amazing, and I love them so much. And it's great because there are a lot of us at the pop-up bookshop, and it's across genres. Like we have some that are sci-fi and fantasy, some romance, some YA. My friend Leslie Summers brings her YA book Breed Reborn, the Amulet series.
I know
And
Leslie.
she's so much.
Yeah.
She has heard me complain enough about my books, and she complains to me about her books, and we just like we have a time of it. Um, but yeah, so we're organized like we're selling each other's book. It's not just you go and you sell your book. You're selling everybody's book. So we kind of help each other out because we all want to do well.
Mhm.
And yeah, people think, oh, this is a nerdy thing, and it's like nerds read romance too. Um, I've had so many conversations with people who are just really looking for that kind of romance, that kind of supernatural romance, and plenty of people like to read spicy books, and I have those. I have a little bit in my book in my sorry in my books, and I have a friend. She's actually on right now at KONCO. Does not write any books that have magic in them. They're all just pure romance,
Mhm.
and she's going to be at GalaxyCon next month as well.
Oh, how nice. That's so good. Yeah, and also like, the people that are going, they're going with their mothers, their aunts, their daughters, sons.
Yeah.
It's not just one person going. I
No,
mean, the whole
I
family could go.
I have seen whole families, like little kids in their wagons, babies in their strollers, um, and yeah, okay, you do have the one that's barely. You could have one that's magic. I forgot. I didn't think about Spellbound in a sec. She has a witch book, so. uh, yes, you can have a kiss. But yeah, I've seen like whole families I've seen in cosplay. I distinctly remember my first GalaxyCon in Richmond last year, and there was a family that the moms dressed up as like Anakin Skywalker and Padme, and then the kids dressed like there was a kid dressed as Obi-Wan. He had a beard and everything, and they were all dressed up as Star Wars characters. And it really is for the whole family,
Yeah,
and
I
it's
love it.
all ages. I think another one this stands out because it was just the cutest thing. They were an older couple, probably older than my parents, so it had to been like
Aw.
late 60s, early 70s, dressed up as like Bilbo and Gandalf. And I like I like taking people's
Aw.
pictures. So I go up and ask them like, "Can I take a picture of your cosplay?" And this guy was just like, "My wife made all of this. She's
Aw.
amazing. She did all of this." And then they stopped and talked to us at the booth because they wanted to see what we were about. So I found like just complimenting people's cosplay and asking if I take a picture, then they want to come talk to us. They want to see what we're about. So I've made lots of sales for everybody just by
Mhm.
telling somebody I like the way they look. And The fact it also brings a smile to their face when somebody compliments, and I really love doing that with younger kids who are clearly there on their first cosplay, a little nervous, and the minute you tell them, "Hey, I love your cosplay. Can I take a picture?" Their smiles, they just light up. And then they drag their parents over to the booth too. So it works out.
Are there any funny stories actually at GalaxyCon that you can talk about that maybe other people don't know about? Just any behind the scene tidbits?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots there. Like I've had several people like, I've never met an author before, and they're just like astounded that you're standing there in front of them, holding your book, talking to them, and that's happened a couple times. Like they're just like, this is so cool. I had one person, she like, I think it was probably Leslie, was talking to them about my book, and she's like, "Oh, this is the author right here," and just to me, and this person literally physically jumped back from the table and screeched, like did
Oh,
not realize that these were
right,
the authors. They weren't just people
right.
selling books. So it's a lot of fun. You get to talk, you get to get in front of people and discuss your book, and that's a really nice thing about it. You get to have these one-on-one interactions. You can personalize books to people, and a lot of times because you're in front of them, they're gonna buy more than one book. They'll just pick up your entire series.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, then I have a lot of fun selling the other authors' books as well, because I can talk to them, talk to people about it. I like to read their books as well, so I can really hype them. And you can really get readers who might not necessarily pick up a genre just because you told them how good it was.
Right. Right. No, I love that. And it makes you as an author get excited about your book
Yeah.
again. You know what I mean? You know, your book could be, 5 years old. Like the first book could be 5 years old, but you're excited about it again because
Yeah.
somebody wants to know about it and they're interested and they're in awe of you. And, you leave thinking, wow, like this was such a great experience. And it
Exactly.
just gets you excited about your book again. Like that
Yeah.
was the whole main thing. Like when I do the book
Mhm.
tours, authors, they're kind of like, oh, I got to do this marketing. Can you do it for me? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then as people are getting more and more interested in their book, they're getting the reviews, they're getting on interviews with podcasts. And then all of a sudden they get so excited about their book again.
Yeah.
And they're like, now I know why I wrote this book. Like I'm back in the groove again. And sometimes you just need that little bit of, that little bit of confidence and somebody complimenting you and, yes, I did all this work and yes, it is worth it type
Yeah.
of thing.
Exactly. And, when it comes to cons, I think, the nice thing about Pop-Up Bookshop is it's not a competition. We're not there to compete against each other. We're there to help each other and, root for each other and take care of each other. If that means like, not just selling books, but it's like, hey, you have not gone to get food all day, go eat. Because you'll forget to eat at a con. You'll be up
Right.
wanting to
So
eat all day
busy.
and kind of forget to eat. And, con food, what you've heard about it is completely true. It's not great.
When is the next one coming out? When is the next? Do you
So
know?
GalaxyCon is March 15th through the 17th. So that's in Richmond. They're also
In
doing
Richmond.
Raleigh this year, Columbus, and they're now doing San Jose. That's a new one this year.
Okay. Do you think they'll ever come to more like East Coast, like, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island? I don't
I
know
mean,
where you are. I was just curious.
I would love for them to do a DC one. I'm right between DC and Baltimore, so that'd be a really easy drive for me. I mean, not
Oh,
that
okay. Well,
Richmond's
is
too far.
Richmond, how far is Richmond
It's
from you?
just under 3 hours. It's about 2.5 hours, so
Okay, so
it's not too
it's
bad.
not too bad.
Yeah. I was at GalaxyCon Columbus in December, which was a time. I had like everything that could go wrong for me went wrong while I was there, and had nothing to do with anybody else. It was like my books got lost. I lost my phone. It was a whole mess. But like that was an instance where I made that drive from Ohio to from the DC area to Ohio many times because I'm from Ohio. And I'm like, I'm not gonna drive. I didn't want to drive, so I flew.
No, I don't blame you. So you're a Midwestern girl at heart.
Yeah,
Yep.
very much so. I'm born and raised in Ohio, and man, we have been there a very long time.
My parents are both side of my parents' families. They're all from Iowa. So even though I grew up in New York, I still have that. I'm proud to say I still have that Midwestern morals and values and that kind of stuff. I'm proud to say that.
See, it's fun to like compare with my husband. He's born and raised in Maryland. He jokes that he's literally made it 2 train stops down from his hometown, which is true. And you know, he doesn't always understand my Midwestern sensibilities. He's like, we don't talk to our neighbors. And I'm like, my neighbors were practically part of my family growing up. They came to every major event, you know, kind of thing. So, yeah, Midwest at heart, always will be.
Yep.
My kids say "ope" now because I say "ope." So.
Yep. I say all my parents' old things. Some people look at me, they're like, what? Like, what? You never heard of that before? It's fun. It's all good and fun. Now, you said that you were willing to give away an ebook, right? What was the book that you were going to be giving away?
Well, I could either give away Heart Magic, which I have a
Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of here.
Let's see the book. Let's show off those beautiful covers.
Oh, let me get, yeah, because I just got new covers for all my books. So Antique Magic got this cover, and Blood Magic,
Beautiful.
and Heart Magic.
Beautiful.
So I am super obsessed, especially with Heart Magic, because one, it's pretty, and my main character Wes is a geologist, so it has he's into his focus is mineralogy. So it has like this crystal in the front that is in the shape of a heart. So I am
love it.
so obsessed with this cover.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking that I could do Antique Magic or or Heart Magic, just because I can either get you into it, or
Yes.
because they're in the same universe, and the same reoccurring characters. It's just each book focuses on a different couple.
Okay. So now let's think about the people that are watching, the people that are watching now and watching in the future, because we'll put this on Instagram. It'll be permanently on Instagram and then also on YouTube, and I think also TikTok. We could put like we'll give them like a week to watch the show, and we'll have them put a word in the comments, and that would automatically enter them into the contest. What word would you like to use for, in order for them to, enter the contest? It could be 1 word, 2 words, whatever you want. Something to do with your books,
I say magic.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Magic.
Yeah. Yes, okay, that's good. So anybody who types in magic in the comments will automatically be entered in to win Antique Magic or the Heart Magic. Is that what you said, right?
Yeah. So I have
ebooks. Yep. And then we'll get your email address and everything, and we'll get the book out to you. Is there anything else that you wanted to tell us about you or your books, or just?
I mean, like I said, I'm hard at work on book 4, and I'm going to be doing a couple of different experiences this year besides. Please be quiet, Ari. So besides GalaxyCon, I am going to also be doing Fright Reads in Columbia this year, and I'll be at the Maryland Renaissance Festival in the fall. So.
Good for you. So that's great. So, all right. So then our listeners can actually try to find you and, get your book signed. That's wonderful. And how can readers get a hold of you? Like, do you have a website or just on your Instagram? Can you tell us that?
I have a website and Instagram, and I have every social media platform, so you can find me at author KaitDisney-Leugers.com. I'm Kait Disney on Instagram. I'm author Kait Disney-Leugers on TikTok. I'm still on the trash fire that is Twitter. I always will be, and that's at Kait Reads a Book.
Okay. So that's great. So as long as they put in Kait Disney, I'm sure they'll be able to find you.
Yeah, I especially if you put in Kait Disney, you'll find me. If you put in Kait Disney-Leugers, I'm the only one. There are 4 Disney-Leugers in existence, and 2 of us are right.
Really? Okay.
Well, yeah, because it's my husband and I both hyphened our names when we got married, so there's only 4 of us that are Disney-Leugers.
Good for you. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it, Kait. And it was nice meeting you too, Artemis. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
One.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.